Welcome to Network Special. This is a podcast, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think if you keep talking, it will be.
Okay, great. Welcome to the show. My name's Nathan.
My name's Colin.
And we are the Nathan Colin twins.
The network guys.
Yeah.
The special fellas.
Yeah, maybe there's a place for us now. Have you heard about the Try Guys?
Yes, especially this week.
Maybe we can take their place.
I don't even fully understand what exactly happened other than...
Have you cheated on your wife?
No. I have not at all.
I haven't either.
And I'm not even saying that like thinking my wife is listening to these episodes because I'm 100% sure actually that she's not. But I'll still put myself out there and say, no, I have not.
Okay.
No, I have not.
Yeah. And so maybe there's room for us twins to hop in that slot.
That sounds so dirty. Maybe it's time for us twins to hop in that slot.
I was just quoting one of his texts to the...
Oh, you were?
Coworker.
That was in one of the... Oh, I'm like, really? No, I haven't read that much on it. So you could have fooled me.
I didn't know anything about the Try Guys, and I don't now. I just knew that the wife guy cheated on his wife, which I don't know. I mean, like if someone were to call me the wife guy, I would assume that would meant that I'm like really into wives.
Wait,
and so maybe
I thought that was just a term you were giving him just now because he's the one who cheated on his wife.
He's
not called the wife guy.
Yeah, he is.
Why?
Because he was all about his wife, I guess.
What?
Yeah. It was all about his wife. And other wives. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't think the other person was married. Okay. Anyways, today's episode is not about the Try Guys.
It is so far.
Our show isn't about Try Guys. But if there isn't, maybe that's our way in to superstardom. But no, we are a podcast that talks about the golden age.
What are you laughing at?
I have this one for sure. I know this one. I was just laughing because it's impossible for me to do this intro without laughing. We talk about the golden age of appointment television, where you used to be able to, or not be able to, you had to watch TV shows when they aired, when they were scheduled. You'd look up on your little TV guide, and you'd see what time they would be on and what day, and then you'd have to sit there, and you couldn't do anything. If you answered the phone, you would miss some of the show.
Are you under the impression that you're doing a filibuster right now? Like, do you think you have to draw this out as long as possible?
I refuse to allow this legislation to go forward.
I refuse to talk about this crappy movie.
Pretty much. No, but yeah, now with the magic of the internet, we can watch these things over and over again. And with this one, we probably won't. But today we're popping into November now. And this actually may air the last weekend of October. I don't know. We'll see. But it's definitely the Thanksgiving season coming up. And so now we're into Thanksgiving specials. And here's one that everyone no doubt knows. Everyone's watched every year since it aired. When you were a kid, the family would gather around, just like you'd watch all the Rudolph specials, at Christmas time. This one, for sure, everyone does. It's National Lampoon's Thanksgiving Family Reunion, or if you're in some regions, Holiday Reunion.
Yeah, I don't even understand why that is, but yes, there's two different names for this. And
well, obviously, because in America, Thanksgiving's a thing. But if you want this movie to become a worldwide, global phenomenon, then you got to go with Holiday Reunion. You can't bust out some American-based holiday.
It's funny because they did that. They did rename it for those other areas of the world, and it still didn't become a global phenomenon. And that's just almost surprising.
That's really strange. And also, I don't even think you can find this movie called Thanksgiving Family Reunion anywhere. Anyways,
Yeah.
I've only seen it called Holiday Reunion.
And there was a time a long time ago where the first two words in that title, National Lampoons, meant like whatever we're gonna see, it's gonna probably be really funny.
Okay, let's just really quickly. I want to go through the list of National Lampoon's movies and see at what point in time did they stop. Okay.
Did they stop being good?
Yeah. So we'll start. Okay. So
we're gonna try to find the line of demarcation where it stopped being classics. That's a movie's iconic, and just started heading down the hill. Okay, I have in my mind roughly where I think that happened, but it'll be good to validate this because I could be wrong.
All right. So now this is going to be a little hard to do only because of how they have this listed on Wikipedia. They have it kind of broken up by different chunks here. But so let's see. If we start at 1978, first National Lampoon. First of all, what is National Lampoons? Let's hear it.
So, you want to know what it is?
Yeah, tell me what it is. Tell the listeners.
So National Lampoon used to be a very famous and well-known humor magazine. And it started off like it was
in the 70s.
Yeah, and it started off as kind of almost, I don't know if it was like an extension of the Harvard Lampoon, but I think it was people that had written for the Harvard Lampoon.
Yeah.
Were now not in school anymore, and they went and they started it as a national brand, basically. And so it started as a humor magazine, and they had a lot of famous content. I think the most famous magazine cover they ever had, you remember the one with the dog and there's like a gun up to the dog's head, and it says something like, if you don't read this edition, we'll kill this dog, or something like that.
Yeah, so like buy this magazine or we'll shoot this dog or something.
Yeah. So yeah, it was very famous. They had the National Lampoon's Radio Hour. They had like live shows they would do, and then they extended. Eventually went into films. So you take it from there.
So the first movie they made was National Lampoon's Animal House, and of course, this is like top tier. Like people when this movie was in the theaters, people were like rolling down the floor because they were laughing so hard. Like that's where ROFL came from. Was this movie?
No, it's not. Shut up.
They
coined it.
Their minds.
People just It didn't say it in the movie, but as soon as somebody saw that movie, they walked out of the theater and they just automatically start saying that acronym all the time.
ROFL, yeah.
But did you? What was your opinion of Animal House? Do you love Animal House?
So, I have not seen it. I mean, I'm just gonna lay it out there. I have not watched this movie. Yeah. I always think about it. Every time I hear it, I go,
and that's
yeah,
shocking,
Nathan,
because Nathan is like on the Mount Rushmore of comedy nerd in my life, and I'm shocked that you have not seen this.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And we won't compare notes. Like I tend to think it's not that funny. I when I saw it, I feel like I had already missed. Like I was not of the time that came out, or even really close. I was born in 1981, and it came out I think a few years before I was born. So, but by the time I saw it, I was okay. Yeah, so I was -3, and it came out, and then by the time I saw it, it was like the late 90s when I was working at Blockbuster Video, and I rented it one time for free. No big deal. And and I was like, oh yeah, that was fun. There's funny stuff about it, but I feel like at that point I had already seen or heard every really funny thing about it. And so it didn't end up like blowing me away.
Yeah, it's just one of those movies that got away. Like I wouldn't have seen it when it came out, obviously, and by the time I would have seen it, it just wasn't on the radar of my friends. Like my friends weren't like, Animal House freaks or something. I don't know. So It just passed me by. Now,
Housies,
maybe
they call
maybe
themselves.
I'll watch it. Yeah, housies. Okay, so then you go from Animal House. Then you've got a movie called Class Reunion.
Never seen that.
Okay,
Don't even know that
screenplay by John Hughes.
I don't even know if I've heard of that.
Screenplay by John Hughes.
Is there? Who's that? I'm just kidding.
What'd you say?
Who's in it? Is there anyone of note in that one?
You got Garrett Graham.
Who is like
Michael
noteworthy?
Lerner,
That's
Miriam Flynn.
I don't think you know what the word notable or of note. I'm not sure you know what that means.
Yeah, that means no one that I know. I mean, maybe if we saw their faces, we would know. But no, I don't see anyone.
The fact that John Hughes wrote it is significant, though.
Yes, so that's something that if you're a John Hughes fan, which most of us I think are, then go out and see it. You know, we won't. If you're a Housey or
it might not be in theaters anymore. What?
Go see it. Go see it.
That's right.
You don't think this is gonna play again like Avatar is right now?
It might, but
okay,
they're gonna have to add
okay,
some,
that's
like,
1982.
new effects
Next
or something to it.
Next movie is National.
Oh my God! At this
Lampoon's
pace,
Movie Madness.
it's gonna be a long episode.
Okay, so
Never heard
So
of
let me
that
just
either.
cut through. Okay.
See, this is where anybody that is a little bit older than us is probably hating us right now because they probably know all of these.
No. Those two movies, because what comes after this is Vacation. What comes after this is Vacation. So it goes Animal House in 78, Class Reunion and Movie Madness in 82, which are just, I don't know, sketch movies or something probably. And then Vacation, it comes, and that's 83. And so that's like, I mean, do people think Animal House is funnier than National Lampoon's Vacation?
I sure as hell hope not. Vacation is one of the loves of my childhood. Is watching that movie over and over. I think I've told you this, Nathan, before, but I had watched that movie a lot of times because we had it recorded, and at some point I watched it and was watching it somewhere else on a movie channel, I think on cable years later. And that's when I first realized that there was actually nudity in it. And because I had been watching a version that was taped off of network TV, and I was like, whoa, I've seen this a lot of times and I didn't realize there was nude. And there's a scene where they're going through, I think it's St. Louis, and they get their hubcaps stolen. And the version I watched of it as a kid, they pull up and there's this guy standing on the corner, and Chevy Chase's character rolls down the window and he says, "Hey, can you help me get back to the expressway?" or something like that. And in the version I watched as a kid, the guy always said, "What do I look like, Christopher Columbo?" So again, same thing. I was like, I thought that was, so I was watching the version. Do you mind if I cuss? I want to give a fair warning to anybody listening to this with kids or something.
Just don't. If
I was watching
if there's anything racist.
No. He's watching it years later, and he says, "Yo, I think Clark Griswold calls the guy Holmes. I think he says, 'Yo, Holmes,' or something like that. It says, 'Can you tell us how to get back to the expressway?' And the guy says, 'Man, fuck your mama.'" And I was like equal parts like shocked, and I was like almost peed my pants. I laughed so hard at it, and I was like, "How the hell did they get from that to what do I look like, Christopher Columbo?" Like, that is the worst jump from that one line to the dubbed over line. But I was like, they should have just stuck with what they had. I thought it was a lot better.
It's the Mr. Show mother father Chinese dent. The Mr. Show mother father Chinese dentist.
Yes, we were just a bunch of pallies. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's exactly what it was.
Okay,
yeah.
So,
but Vacation is like one of the formative
Yeah.
comedies of my childhood.
Yes. So then it goes to National Lampoon's Joy of Sex, which another one I haven't seen, and then it's European Vacation and Christmas Vacation. So from 1978 to 1989, there's 7 National Lampoon movies, and 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are like considered bona fide classics. I mean, I don't know if European Vacation is, but
it's got some moments. It's got some things.
And then
it's got Johnny Lawrence from Karate Kid in it. It's got its its
and
place.
Then we take a break.
A long break.
To 1993, and we're on to National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1.
Great title. Great title.
I remember watching that when I was a kid and liking it.
Mm-hmm.
But I could not speak to whether or not it's good now.
I don't think it would probably be very good now. That's my guess. But I remember liking it too.
And then from there, honestly, it's just, it's just trash, it seems.
Okay, you're gonna hate what I'm about to say.
All right.
I actually like the movie Van Wilder, kind of. Am I crazy? Am I a terrible person?
I like Ryan Reynolds. I don't know if this movie's bad or not. I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Okay. Well, I think it's the first movie I ever saw him in. It's not great, and it's definitely got it's not anywhere near their 80s heyday, but when you look at, I've now pulled this up, when you look at the other movies that they made around it, am I reading this wrong, or does that say that they made a movie called National Lampoon's Golf Punks,
starring Tom Arnold.
Yeah, so right after that was Van Wilder. I guarantee Van Wilder is better than Golf Punks and Golf Pranks, which is probably the sequel.
I'm gonna just go ahead, just call it. I say Christmas Vacation is the last good movie they made.
Okay.
I mean,
all right,
maybe
I'll
Van
buy
Wilder's
that.
fine, but that has to be the point where it just that's the peak.
Not the last watchable movie they made, but the last good movie. And honestly, when I look at this list, because it goes on for a long time, past Van Wilder for many more National Lampoon's films, this really lowers my. For some reason, National Lampoon's that name when I think about it attached to films, I think, oh, there's this huge library of great stuff they did, and it's really not a high percentage of success here with what they've done.
It is.
It's like 5 out of 50.
It's bad. The only good movie that they have made since then is the documentary about the movie, about the National Lampoon.
What's the documentary?
Drunk, Stoned, Brilliant, Dead.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes. I was making sure that you weren't confusing that with the biopic made about the creation of the Harvard Lampoon, about the creation of the National Lampoon. I mean, sorry.
I enjoy that.
Yeah, I did too.
I liked it too, but it's not. They didn't produce that.
Yeah, I think it was made by Netflix.
Yeah, so that's not in this list here.
Right.
So this movie, Thanksgiving Family Reunion. Let's just get into this dang thing. Like we said, don't be fooled. I mean, the point I guess I was trying to make is that National Lampoon really hasn't even I don't even know that we could give them the credit that I don't know.
They made a few good movies and they've been coasting for 35, 40 years. Is that what you're trying to say? Because that's what I'm getting out of this.
I don't even get it. I don't even get I know the history, and I know all the people, especially in the beginning, were geniuses and helped create. It's like the Harvard Lampoon effect on comedy is massive. Same with Second City or UCB or whatever. All of these groups have created, the comedy we see today. But
I was thinking
don't see.
I was thinking about this. If you had a top 5 biggest brand names in comedy, is National Lampoon's on that list? Brand names where it's a household, most people have heard of it. Because I think it probably is, even though this conversation we just had sort of proves that maybe it doesn't belong on there. But it's SNL's got to be on that list.
No,
Harvard
it is
Lampoon
in the
or-
list. It is in the list because of Christmas Vacation and the fact that it is a classic that is in constant generation after generation. We always show the next generation, you know. So like Marlo has not seen any of the
that's
other.
his daughter.
Yeah, my daughter Marlo has not seen any of the other National Lampoon movies. She's seen Christmas Vacation though.
Yeah, I'd say even though maybe it has a loftier reputation than it deserves, it's definitely one that people would name if you said what is like a famous. I'm trying to even think what else would be on that list now that I've said that. Like maybe like I would put Mad on there just because I am a huge fan of Mad magazine from when I was a kid, but.
Yeah,
and Mad TV is not. It wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but it was okay.
I guess you'd say like National Lampoon's like Saturday Night Live has a whole tradition of comedy movies. Like I would say, and their movies aren't great either, but I would say they've made funnier movies than National Lampoon has.
No,
at least in total.
Like if you added up all the laughs from all the movies that the
No.
two brands made, how many would have
saying,
more total laughs?
No, I'm saying if you added up the amount of movies that are passable versus...
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree.
What
are the passable SNL movies?
I'm looking them up right now. Okay, Wayne's World. I mean,
Wayne's World, Wayne's World 2. I'll give you those. Okay.
Wayne's World. Okay, Blues Brothers.
I'm going to have my Animal House moment that you just had. I've never seen Blues Brothers.
I haven't seen Blue Brother either.
So you've had two
that's
of those moments
that's a
now.
huge one. That's a huge one that people go on about. So Blues Brothers, which I would consider people consider that a classic.
I'm going to shimmy out on this limb and say Stuart Saves His Family isn't great. That's the Stuart Smalley movie.
Blues Brothers, Wayne's World 2.
Those are in.
Ladies Man is funny. Ladies Man is freaking funny.
Oh, come on.
MacGruber?
No. MacGruber is not, well, I guess,
MacGruber's-
yeah, okay, yes, MacGruber's
MacGruber
great. I forgot that that's an SNL movie, though.
So
it
they're
feel
at
like
least
one.
so they're at least the same amount of good movies that National Lampoon's has made.
Oh, so we're not counting Van Wilder now? You're cutting Van Wilder out of the Mount Rushmore of great National Lampoon's films? Is that what I'm hearing?
Sorry.
There's another SNL movie that's really good, and I can't think of what it is right now.
Well, it's not Coneheads.
No, it's not Coneheads. It's not Night at the Roxbury. It's not
It's not Pat. It's Superstar? Is it Superstar?
Not Superstar. Damn.
Well, those are all the movies. I know what it is. Blues Brothers 2000.
Yeah, I just needed them to get rid of John Belushi and replace him with John Goodman. That's what that's what was missing in it for me.
So this is critical response, Rotten Tomatoes percentages in order. Wayne's World number 1.
Yes.
Blues Brother number 2. Wayne's World number 3. MacGruber number 4. And Blues Brothers 2000 is number 5.
Are you kidding me?
It's at 46%.
Wow. Okay. Well, maybe I was. I apparently have like inflated the impact of both of these film outfits then, because I would have. I really thought there was another SNL movie. Now there are some SNL movies that didn't get made that I think were. Would have potentially been good. Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Sure, yeah.
Like they were gonna make a Dieter film. Mike Myers was gonna make a Dieter, a Sprockets film. That didn't happen. There's probably a whole list of ones that almost got made, but
so we said Saturday Night Live and we said National Lampoon. What is another? You're right. Like what other comedy, like, what would you say? Factories or something?
like a brand, yeah. I said Mad. I think that belongs on there.
Yeah, but what have they done? They've done Mad TV. That's it.
But Mad Magazine was huge. I don't know
Sure.
that the last few generations care about Mad Magazine, but it was fantastic.
Well, you know what I say to that? Black.
And I say, what, me worry? I was trying to think of a way to say what me worry and make it make sense, but I couldn't come up with it in just a moment's notice like that. I guess
there really isn't like
maybe like Kevin is Kevin Smith a comedy brand because he has like his own universe.
Well, that's a universe is different than a because like the
View Askew.
Animal House. Yeah, Animal House is not the same universe as vacation movies or something. But.
Oh, you haven't heard that theory that ties together?
Yeah,
all the National Lampoon's
and the
movies.
Joy of Sex.
Yes, and golf punks. Yeah. Remember, because one of the golf punks is watching a news story about the Blues Brothers in the background in that one scene. All right. Well, we should probably talk about this, which this film that we're going to talk about. It feels like we've avoided it for long enough, but it's. I obviously haven't seen all the National Lampoon's films, but it's got to be one of the worst ones.
Is that what I need to do? Do I have to binge all of the? Like I went through all the Marvel stuff, right? Like I went in Marvel chronological order. It took me like months. So now, do I have to like?
You would have such a hard time finding some of these. I don't know where you'd find them, but I know that I do. After I looked at this list, one of the National Lampoon's films is called National Lampoon's The Beach Party at the Threshold of Hell.
Okay.
And I kind of want to watch that just because it's the title. I don't know what the hell it's about and who's in it. Or
maybe I should do I watch all of them and then I try to devise a universe where they all work together.
That would be great.
And then
that would be great.
Then I can set up a chronological way to watch it, like you watch Animal House, but then you have to watch Blues Brothers 2000s for some reason.
It's the Marvel order you have to watch them in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Won't
now
happen.
Nobody would get it because nobody has subjected themselves to watching all of those because there's a lot of them. But
do you think that there is any one person in the world who has seen every National Lampoon movie?
Yes,
certainly,
absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely, probably a lot more than one. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, probably.
Probably like a descendant of,
I could think of someone from AST, from aspecialthing.com, the old message board who would have done that.
I don't know. That was a lot of comedy, like highfalutin comedy people on there. So I don't know that they would watch
there's a
Party
guy
at the Threshold of Hell.
No, there's a guy, Bill Brasky, I think. Yeah, Bill Brasky. His forum handle. I think he would have watched them all. Shout out to Bill Brasky. Okay, who was also an expert in vintage porn. Okay, so shout out to Bill Brasky.
All right, hey.
Comedy nerd and porn aficionado. Okay,
skeevy perv.
Hey, let's. Hey, don't besmirch this man. Okay. So
Bill Brasky once ate the Bible while water skiing. That's one of the lines from that sketch. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, thank you for quoting the sketch because that's what this show needed.
Yep. Absolutely. You're welcome.
At least one funny thing will happen on here. So this movie, it stars Judge Reinhold as a anesthesiologist to the stars.
In the first scene, he is in an operating room, and we find out there's a lady being operated on, and we find out that it's Britney Spears, apparently.
Yeah.
Even though she kind of starts coming out of like the, sedation medicine or whatever he has her. And she kind of like starts to sit up and he grabs her head and like slams it back down. And it did not look like Britney Spears. Not even close. Like they didn't even try to find somebody that looked vaguely like her.
No, in fact, I think that was improvised. Like he shoved her head back down so the camera wouldn't see it.
He's like, we can't let this extra that we found in a 7-Eleven. Like
you're supposed to be Britney Spears. Keep your head down.
So right off the bat, it's not great.
And he's being, like everyone's treating him badly because he's an anesthesiologist. Like all the surgeons are, I guess that's.
Is that a hierarchy that we didn't know about? Like, do surgeons look down on anesthesiologists
in this universe?
Yeah. All right.
And apparently, also, he's like just super rich. I guess you can be super rich when you do anesthesia.
Well, I think
is that true?
I think that is true. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I mean, they're doctors, and they're like very necessary, very like
Okay, good.
demanded. How's that? Highly demanded people. So yeah, I would assume you make pretty damn good money. I'm gonna look it up, Nathan.
Yeah, I'm interested in this new career path potentially.
might be too late for you, buddy.
Okay, well, so then he comes home to his rich house, and it's clear he's not appreciated there either. His wife and kids are all very much empty, vapid kind of people. What's a good word for that?
I like that word. Vapid's a
Vapid.
great word.
Okay. I'll ask you later what it means.
Bureau of Labor Statistics says that the average mean annual wage for an anesthesiologist. You want to guess?
I'm gonna say $125.
$331,000. Your face.
I've always said that I've been great at guessing salaries.
You have said that, especially about medical specialties.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So good for them. Good for anesthesiologists. So he comes home. His wife's, classic tale. She's spending all of his money.
Women be shopping. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Kids are gross. And it's Thanksgiving time.
You're getting a little lazy with the description. Kids are gross.
I blew my load on Vapid, okay?
That's it. God, that's such a graphic.
This film doesn't really have too many huge stars yet that we'll get to. But Judge Reinhold,
what do you think? We should go through and figure out at what point in time his career just nosedove, because he was
nosedove.
He was
that's
big.
Right.
Nosedived. Same thing. I wonder if his career, the trajectory, and then crashing, coincides at all with the National Lampoons. That'd be interesting.
Maybe they're connected. Let's see right now.
There's a universe where they're connected.
He has so many movies that he actually has a separate Wikipedia page for the
filmography. Yes, he does.
All right, so let's see. Oh yeah, he's Private Elmo Bloom.
He's in Stripes.
Stripes, that's right. All right, let's see. So, what would you say his top?
His top films. Okay, so I'm gonna say he's in all three Beverly Hills Cop movies. He probably prefers that we don't talk about Beverly Hills Cop 3, but he's in all of them, and he's in the new one that they're making too. They announced that recently. Good. Which I think Netflix is making.
So for me, his top movie.
But he's in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That's got to be his top movie.
Yeah. So my top movie from him, based on the amount of times I watched it as a kid, was Vice Versa.
Vice Versa? Oh God, I love that you said that, because I was about to say something about Vice Versa.
It's my top movie from him.
There's a line from Vice Versa that my brother, I'm 41. My brother's, 45, 46. We still quote it just out of context all the time. Like if one of us thinks of it and we're around each other, we'll say it. And it's not even a funny line from the movie. It's just the way he delivers it in the movie.
Yeah.
We'll just be walking by each other and we'll just go, oh, I need some pens and some pencils, some envelopes. And it's just Vice Versa is just, it's a good one. It's a good one.
It brings a family together.
It sure does.
I mean, he's in Gremlins. He plays like a jerk in Gremlins.
He's in Gremlins?
Yeah, he I think he's trying to hit on, Phoebe Cates' character.
But Phoebe Cates is who he jerked his gherkins to in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. They're in that together again?
I guess so.
I like to think that he's like the Where's Waldo of Phoebe Cates movies. He's jerking off in some scene in every Phoebe Cates movie. If you look like the background or something, it's like the Alfred Hitchcock cameo thing. You have to look for a judge,
He's in every single one.
Getting all over himself. That's why she retired from acting eventually.
Yeah, she just couldn't take it.
She couldn't take it. She said it was because she wanted to stay home and raise her children's that she had with Kevin Kline. But I think she's just tired of Judd's Pud being out all the time.
Yeah, Judd's Pud. That's I like that. I I mean, yeah, he's in Beverly Hills Cop. Vice versa is the one that, but it looks like he's got like, here's one called Daddy's Dying. Who got the will?
What?
Daddy's Dying. Who's got the will?
That's
I mean,
the name of the movie? Is there like a colon in there somewhere?
Yeah, Daddy's Dying. : Who's got the will? I mean, he's in like, and then he does a sensual movie, Zandalee.
I don't know that,
Cage.
but I think early '90s. The only movie I can name that he's in is it Beethoven? He's the dad in Beethoven, I think, isn't he?
No, that's Charles Grodin.
Oh well, he's in one of the Beethoven sequels. Then
Let's see.
I'm almost positive
He's in the Santa Claus. He's in the Santa Claus.
Oh,
He's
that's
the,
what he's in.
Yeah, he's the dad. He's like the new dad.
You got to check. I think he's in like Beethoven 4.
Beethoven's third. He's in.
There you go. There you go. In your face.
He's in My Brother the Pig. With Scarlett Johansson and Eva Mendes.
What?
Yeah. This guy's all over the place.
And he was in a video a couple years back. I think he was like drunk and got arrested on a plane or at an airport or something. I think that's the last time he's been seen in public, maybe.
Well, he was in Bad Grandmas in 2017. Bad Grandmas.
But that was I think that was like an attempt to cash in after Bad Grandpa, I believe. Probably. And it has like Pam Grier in it, if I remember. I almost want you to look it up and tell me Pam Grier is not in that, because it will make me feel better about myself if I remember what freaking What's that?
Florence Henderson, Pam Grier,
oh,
Judge Reinhold. Yeah,
that's upsetting that I know that.
He's on an episode of Ghost Rider.
He was in a great episode of Seinfeld. You skipped that. He's the close talker on Seinfeld.
Oh, that's true.
That's a good episode.
Yeah, I mean, he was on Arrested Development in an episode as himself.
As a judge, yeah.
Oh, he was also in Clerks, the animated series.
We're probably spending too much time on this.
I'll end on this. This is my favorite Judge Reinhold appearance. He's in Clerks, the animated series, where he plays a judge in a courtroom named Judge Reinhold.
Perfect.
So kudos to Kevin Smith for that. But no, I don't know. I don't know if he's considered a gentleman and a scholar or what. He is a Christian, I see.
My God, you've got to stop reading the Judge Reinhold Wikipedia page.
That's what this show is.
It's reading Judge Reinhold's Wikipedia page? I was led to believe it was something else.
No, reading Wikipedia pages.
Oh.
Okay, anyway, so
I'm gonna skip forward. Judge Reinhold, whose name I can't remember in the movie already. I know, right? He gets this letter mailed to him that somehow finds his house because it doesn't have an address on it. It just has his name and the city, Encino, California. That's all it has on it. He opens it. It's from his cousin, his long lost cousin, who has found him and said, "Hey, we want you to come and join us for Thanksgiving at our home in Idaho." So he has to convince his shitty kids and his wife, who doesn't seem super interested in him, that they should go on this big grand vacation to Idaho to see his family, because apparently he doesn't have any family. So off they go in their luxury SUV.
And when they get there, this is where you get to see the other massive star.
Now a massive star.
Well, hold on. Was he okay? So it's it's Bryan Cranston. Was he in Malcolm in the Middle at this time?
Yeah, but he wasn't a massive star.
No, in my
he was known. He wasn't. Now he's a big time. He's in one of the most famous shows of all time. He won a bunch of awards. He won a Tony. He won nominated for Oscars. Like, he's a huge actor now.
Let me break onto our sideshow, where I read Bryan Cranston's Wikipedia page.
I'm gonna sign off if that's what's happening. Hey, Bryan Cranston was in several good episodes of Seinfeld also. I wonder if they talked about that on set.
Oh, that's true. Oh, we were both in this show.
And then that was the end of the conversation.
And then Judge Reinhold turned around.
He's like, I was in vice versa. He didn't even mention it.
So when does he start? Okay, Malcolm in the Middle is 2000, 2006, and this movie's 2004 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
2003.
2003. Something. All right, so he's hit peak middle, Malcolm in the Middle, and now he's on this. Which, by the way, like you were mentioning. Well, I guess we'll talk about this towards the end, but I'll pause on that, and we will continue that conversation.
I don't even know what you're talking about, so I don't even know how to bring it back up later.
Exactly. I will.
All right.
So now they get on a road trip. By the way, they bring this guy who lives across the street that they call Uncle Phil, who is just an old man who yells at cars. And for some reason, they brought him with
They don't even explain why at all they're taking him, why they're close to him. Do they feel bad for him? It's weird. And also, Uncle Phil, like, what the hell? Like, after certain things, right. You can't use certain names. Like, you say Uncle Phil, and it made me think of Fresh Prince every single time they said it. And they never called him Phil. They called him Uncle Phil every time they said his name throughout the whole movie. So I'm like, come on, guys. This is horrible.
No, there should be a moratorium on Uncle Phil's. In life, too. Just in
life, yes. Like, uncles shouldn't even be allowed to fill things up. That's how bad this is. No, same. There's just names like that where you're like, what? It's distracting. I'm shocked that nobody said that because his name didn't matter at all to the movie. But
speaking of this names, weird names. So just casually looking through some of this Cranston's stuff, and it says here that he does animated voices, and in one he's credited as Lee Stone, and in the Street Fighter 2 movie cartoon he's credited as Phil Williams.
The Street Fighter 2 cartoon movie?
Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, he does the voice of Fei Long, and he's credited as Phil Williams? Was he in some kind of contract, or he couldn't use his name?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay,
maybe he was embarrassed because he knew that movie was going to suck. That seems more likely. I don't know. I've never seen it.
All right.
You're telling me that you can't just pass judgment on certain films you've never seen?
I'm in a constant state of doing so.
Yeah.
We've done it on this very episode. So, okay, let's talk
about golf hunks or whatever it's called.
We are really stretching this episode, by the way, just so that there will be anything in it, because this movie sucks so bad.
it's bad.
I'm just gonna quickly just run through the plot just for like 30 seconds, and so then we can just talk about the production value or whatever, and then move on. But basically, Bryan Cranston's family is a crazy hippie redneck kind of family, and they get there. Everything's crazy. Just like it would be like if the Griswolds went to Cousin Eddie's house.
That's exactly what it looks like.
That's the point. Yeah,
like
that's
this.
the point.
There's the whole first 30 minutes of this movie feels.
Let me get through this, and then.
No. Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So they get there. Crazy things are happening. Bad. They have bad stuff. Then they find out that Bryan Cranston's character, who's named Woodrow Snyder, it has a he has a request. Like it has an ulterior motive for inviting them, and it's he wants money from him because their house is going to be repoed or whatever you'd say. They're going to show up one day and the repo man will be there.
You got to explain what he first tells them that he wants from him.
Well, it's pointless. He lies about wanting a kidney.
It makes no sense.
So stupid. It's so stupid. So anyways, he wants money from him. Judd's all mad, but guess what? The kids and the wife actually find something in common with the other family, so they're like, let's stay and help.
But at first it seemed like they weren't going to find anything in common with any of them, but then they all did.
Yeah.
By the way, really special.
By the way, we have to circle back really quickly on something you said earlier when you said Judd's Pud.
Please.
And it doesn't work. Now I just realized it because his name's not Judd. It's Judge. So it would be Judge's Pudge. Judge's Pudge, right? Okay. Anyway.
I like that too. Why did I call him Judd?
I don't know. So then there's also this kind of side story. The reason why he needs money is this guy who he didn't fix his washing machine, I guess, now wants the money back or something. It's just insane. And they end up saving someone's life, and he gives them the money, and they become great friends, and so on. This movie is so stupid.
The whole last hour of it, Judge, his character has just gone off the deep end and hates this new cousin after he had loved him and wanted to embrace him and accept him and all that. He loses his mind and hates him. And then, yes, it ends with this random car chase thing, kind of, where a car flips on its side and breaks into flame. It's just, and then you got to explain the big, I guess this was a redeeming moment or something, is one of these country kids from this town who was kind of like a bad guy was in one of the cars that flipped and he got hurt and whatever. And so Judge has to perform a tracheotomy on him. A tracheotomy on a bench on the street. And then that's the big powerful moment at the end. And everybody's like, oh, great. It's very weird. It makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense.
There's so much going on in this, so it's not worth even doing it. But I want to just, so this is definitely a TV movie, no question. It has moments where it's it's trying to be gross and crass, but it can't. So a fart is the grossest it can be.
Oh, edgy.
And then there's sort of there is a Bryan Cranston butt, and
you do see his bare butt.
You almost see some side pudge from Judge.
That old pudgy side Judge. I can't even say it.
But it's just, there's sex jokes. It's kind of. So if this were to come out in the theaters, I could see it being,
they're okay. Let me
going a little further.
I want to expand on what you said there. There's the attempts at humor are they are weirdly muted because it was a TBS produced film. But there are also just weird, you mentioned Bryan Cranston's butt. We see that because while Judge Reinhold's character is taking a shower, all of a sudden, Bryan Cranston's Woody character, is in the shower with him, rubbing all over his body in this really, weird... It's it's just supremely cheap because it's just there's so many shortcuts to hey, you can just imagine the screenwriters being hey, it's really funny if you just make fun of country people that live out in the, rural areas. That's easy. And then, what about gay panic? We could do a thing where they get in the showers together. And then, what about, and you didn't mention this, what about bestiality? That's funny. There's this dog in the movie that's constantly sticking its snout in Judge Reinhold's ass crack and in his balls.
Let's talk
and
about
then
that real quick.
There's a sex scene at the end of the movie where Judge Reinhold and his wife, who had been having fights about how they have no sex life or something, it just came up out of nowhere just at a certain point. They have sex, and then she sort of rolls over and she's all satisfied and going to sleep. And then the dog, I don't even know, because this is one of the instances, like you said, where they're trying to explain something really risque happening, but they can't just outwardly say it. But they basically make it seem like the dog went up to the bed afterward and started
gave him a
doing
blowy.
something to Judge as he laid there with his eyes closed. What? I was watching this. I'm did I seriously just? Did they? What?
Yes.
What?
So, okay.
What?
So
what just happened?
So this dog. Let's talk about this dog real quick. The dog's name is Yoko, and every time the dog appears, there's a song that plays where someone sings Yoko, and the dog appears.
The name of the song is Yoko. Oh no!
Yeah,
that's the name of the song because the dog's always doing something. They're like Yoko. Oh no! Why? Why?
Let's talk. I love the music in this because it's It's everything's a keyboard. Like so, it's like it's like.
That's good keyboarding, dude.
Thank you.
That was really good keyboarding.
If you look at the credits too, like everything's like all. There's no music in this that is licensed because why would you pay any money?
No, that was just
for
bought
this
off like
movie?
a royalty free stock
no.
music site.
No. Every song is written by the same person. And
Oh,
it's whoever did the music in this, and he wrote the Yoko Ono song. There's also a character whose name is Janice in this, who ends up. It's the mom of,
Woody's
the
wife.
wife character, played by Penelope Ann Miller, who is also a famous person, though not as
She
big
was
as-
in Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah, but played her mom, and her name. She ends up hooking up with Uncle Phil, of course. But did you see her name in the credits?
No, and I also don't understand where her character just pops up out of like absolutely nowhere.
And they don't.
They don't
Okay.
even explain who she is. It's just
Is
like
there,
she
well,
appears.
She says I'm Jill's mom or whatever.
She says that after her and Phil already had sex, I think.
No, she says it right away because
And then I missed it.
That's like one of the scenes that I actually was paying attention to. So, yes, Janice, and she is her mom. But then I looked at the credits. She's played by an actress named Rita Hutton. But in this movie, she's credited as Rita with an H.
What do you mean?
That's what her credit is.
Like the word Rita written with an H, or you're saying it literally says
No,
Rita with an
It says the words Rita with an H.
H? Why? Look into that for me.
I'm trying. Rita Hutton. I don't understand why Rita has like a joke name.
I did
like
not
in
notice
the Poltergeist, she was in the movie Poltergeist or she was in the TV show Poltergeist the Legacy. And in the same Rita with an H. She was in Dead Man's Gun TV series, Rita with an H. So it's like Smallville. She was on Smallville.
It's like Cedric
as
the
Rita
Entertainer.
with an H. Yeah.
It's like just like a stage name. It's probably like, hey, she tried to be Rita Hutton, and there was somebody in the Actors Guild with already had that name or something. That's my best guess.
She's dead though, so we'll never know.
Ah, too soon. Too soon. Although she was really old back in 2003 when this was made. So.
Just on time then.
Yep.
Just in time.
Totally on schedule.
So I don't know. This movie is just. Is there
Bad.
anything else to say about this dumb thing? Is there something you really had to say about when you saw it?
The funniest thing in this movie, in my opinion, is this one really weird cut where, and it's right at the end of the movie where I'm trying to remember there's like a scene where like two people are like having a nice moment or something, and then it cuts like in a flash to Judge Reinhold and his wife having sex.
Okay.
Do you remember that moment? It's like very weird and jarring because it's like it goes straight from this moment where like two characters are talking or something like that and cuts in a flash to like later that night and these other two characters are having sex, and it's very weird. So for me, the funniest thing in this was just moments like that where
Bad
it was
editing?
like, moments like that where it was bad editing, or you're watching and you feel like, okay, that last scene, how does this connect to what they're saying now? And it feels like, oh, there's probably other things that just like didn't get filmed because they needed to, it felt like a lot of corners were probably cut on this thing. So those were the things I laughed at a number of times where it's just like, man, somebody has no sense of like pacing or what scenes to put up against each other to make it not weird.
The stuff I laughed at, the fart stuff is stupid. I hate that that's like what they go for, but I laugh every time at farts.
Yeah, I was about to take issue if you said that you don't think
so
that's funny.
I don't, but I laugh at that every time, so it doesn't matter. I'm gonna be laughing at farts forever. And there was a scene where there's a couple of times where Bryan Cranston does or says something that makes me laugh, just because he one thing about him. I was thinking about this as I was watching it. And he is this is what's interesting. Is he a dramatic actor or is he a comic actor? Like, I know he's like plays and Broadway and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, he doesn't have to be one or the other.
I know that, but
he's an incredible dramatic actor.
The first
but
time
he's
I ever
also
knew
really
about him,
funny.
The first time I ever knew about him was from Malcolm in the Middle. So does he start that way?
Yeah, I think a lot of the early stuff that he did was fun. Like I mentioned, Seinfeld. That's I think the first time I ever saw him, when he was playing Watley. What is I can't remember the character's first name. Something Watley. The dentist.
Jody.
No, Jody Watley. Yep, exactly. Something Watley, and he's their dentist that like converts to Judaism. And Seinfeld is upset because he thinks he converted just for the jokes. Like he's really funny in that. So I think a lot of the early stuff that he did was like that. But I know that he was cast in Breaking Bad in large part because he had been on. I think it was one episode, may have been a couple, but I think an episode of the X-Files. And what's his face who created Breaking Bad, whose name is escaping me right now. Even though it's my favorite show of all time, so I feel bad about forgetting. Yes, Vince Gilligan's like, I think maybe wrote the episode of X-Files that he was on and was like a very dramatic character. And so that's why I thought of him for Breaking Bad. I think now if you ask people, they'd say he's a dramatic actor.
When I look at all of his stuff, it does seem like he's mainly doing dramatic stuff first and peppering in kind of comedic things, and then I think it's mostly dramatic though. Okay, so he goes on Malcolm in the Middle, and he's great on there. He's funny. He's really funny. But in this is one of those movies where I get the sense where he's like, "Oh man, this is going to be tons of fun, and I'm going to be so funny in this."
Be like this big broad character. He does. There was a lot of times where I felt like he was doing a Jim Carrey impersonation.
Oh, he's like going over the top, right? Like,
but not like Jim Carrey himself. Like there were times where it felt like he was being Ace Ventura-y, and then there was a lot of times where I felt like he was being like Lloyd Christmas from Dumb and Dumber.
By the way, Bryan Cranston is also in the Clerks TV series. Do you think that Judge Reinhold and Bryan Cranston talk about that as well?
I think they're really cousins, and they really hang out all the time.
Yeah. So okay, what I'm getting at is like, okay, so when I like sometimes like dramatic actors will do comedic movies because they want to be seen as funny, but that's not fair to Cranston because he's already like doing tons of funny stuff already by this point. But when I see him in interviews, I get the sense that he really tries hard to be funny, and it doesn't always land, I don't think.
Really? Like when you hear him getting interviewed as himself, you think that he's like trying too hard? I think he has a good sense of humor.
I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying I think he tries too hard. He like plays up his, like when I see like Bob Odenkirk in an interview, he's not like doing like Better Call Saul quotes and stuff. Like, but Bryan Cranston's like, I don't know.
Doing holiday reunion quotes.
Yeah. I mean, the guy won't shut up about it.
And I don't want to go back to this and belabor this point, but why is it called holiday reunion when these two have never met each other? None of these people have met each other before. Why is it called reunion?
No, he has.
They knew. No. He claims there's like one line in the movie where he says, "Oh, we went on a fishing trip." Like, remember that fishing trip when they were like 5 or something.
There's a picture of them together as little kids.
Does not a reunion make, as they say.
Well, I mean, I guess it literally would be if you were apart from someone and then you reunited.
I
with
think
them.
you should literally stop trying to argue with me about this because I don't appreciate it.
Well,
I just think you're wrong. It's not a reunion.
okay.
Damn it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much else. Any more thoughts about this?
Yeah, it's pretty lazy. Pretty lazy and pretty terrible, and obviously taken from all involved just as like a paycheck.
Here's a quote I just read on Rotten Tomatoes. This made-for-TV mess seems to be cast by the Who's Got a Mortgage Payment Due agency.
That's what I just said. Like, yeah, it's
good.
Clearly a paycheck, and that's it. That's fine. Like, it bothers me sometimes when people act like, oh man, this guy's sold out. It's like, okay, not everybody can probably afford to always be like high artistic moral integrity on everything. Like sometimes it's like, hey, fine. You're paying me and I'm going to do this job and I don't think it's going to be Shakespeare, but I'm going to do it. That's fine.
Like every job has, sometimes, when you work at McDonald's, sometimes you have to clean the bathrooms.
Sure.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yep. That's
when
what David.
Really, you want to be out there in the drive-through, late at night when no one's coming through. It's perfect.
What?
Best
okay.
job.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I got to think that's what it is. I didn't look at any of the Rotten Tomatoes. I looked at a handful of the review, like the IMDb user reviews or whatever they call them, like people that watched it and review them, and every one of them is 1 star. Or like 1 out of 10, I mean.
Wow.
1 out of 10, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10. And then there's one that's like 10 out of 10. And I think that person makes the argument that it's the best National Lampoon's movie. And then 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10. It's like comical where you're just like, I hope that person was trying to be funny. It's not funny what they wrote, but I hope that's what their attempt was. But you know it wasn't. It was somebody who was like, that is great. Did you see that movie on TBS? It was really funny.
That's the guy who's watched them all.
And he says it's the best one.
That's the freaking guy. He knows. Okay, let's wrap this.
What I look like, Christopher Columbo?
What a great way to launch our fall, November, Thanksgiving month of shows.
By talking about a movie right before Thanksgiving, talking about a movie that is so bad it will make you sick. You'll lose your appetite.
Barely about Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
This month we've got lots of great stuff in store for you. What it is, none of us know. We still have to figure it out. But thank you so much for tuning in. You can check out all of our details at networkspecialpodcast.com or look up the Network Special Podcast on Twitter and TikTok and Instagram, Facebook, all those great places where occasionally we post something.
Yeah, how about that?
That's not an episode. Like this week I posted some fun stuff about an episode that you have already listened to.
Yep.
From a month ago.
Yep.
And
you didn't tie it to anything.
No, I just
in the so even I was confused.
So just, super fans will know, and that's just for them.
Good,
Little Easter eggs, just for them. Well, thank you for tuning in. Colin, do you have anything to say before we close up?
No, just don't watch this movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess we should say, should people watch this?
Absolutely don't watch this.
Is no, unless you are a massive fan of Judge Reinhold.
Or you're a Cranston head.
Yeah. If you're looking for Judge's Pudge, don't watch this.
You're a Judgy Pudgy, as they call them.
Yeah. All right. As we say at the end of every episode, in your name we pray. Amen.
We do. Whatever. All right.
Bye. Turns out we do. We've said it a lot.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Well, in your name you pray. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time.
Okay. Bye.